Oh, okay. And a razor last day.
And we've seen it already.
So that's a razor mid, and that's really good against the Brewmaster. We were talking about earlier, something to punish that Brewmaster on the middle lane.
This is going to be a good game.
I
would favor Navi on the draft.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I predicted Vici to win this 2-1, but based off the draft, I think Navi can easily take it.
I agree.
Easy res for me.
Alright, good stuff. We're going to go back to the commentary team for our third and final game in our first quarter-final of the day. Take it away, Cinderin and Toby1. Thank you very much, Paul. We are back here to do our third game of Navi versus VG Gaming, and potentially a point where Mark loses his ESL Perfect Prediction Award.
Yeah, I think quite similar to the game number 2 we saw. Navi's just improved their drafting very much from game number 1, and it's, as we talked about in that game, it seems like they were just trying something out, and now they're back to something more stable. I think both teams have really good drafts in this game. One thing I want to point out, though, from the get-go here is that Navi, as far as one thing I like commenting on whenever it's very relevant, like in a game like this, I think it's often very important to have multiple means of initiating a fight. And when you look over at Navi's lineup, you've got Telekinesis, you've got Blink Dagger Brewmaster, you've got Cask, and you've got Centaur with Stampede and or Blink Dagger and Hoofstomp, right? Mm-hmm. On VG Gaming, you have Burrow Strike and Burrow Strike, right? Unless you want to call...
You limit yourself a lot, yes.
Do you think... I wouldn't really call Viscous Nasal Goo an initiating tool, and you've got Concussive Shot, which hits like 1, maybe 2 targets if they stack, but it's really not reliable. And the problem is, I think VG Gaming's teamfight relies on an Epicenter coming off, so then FY can't open it for them. Yep. Technically, Elder Titan can also be an initiator with Astral Spirit into Echo Stomp, but the level these teams play on, they are really good at splitting up, yeah. You can follow through. Now, one thing VG Gaming is going to be really good at, and that I don't think they touched upon so much in the pre-match analysis, is how much harassment power VG Gaming actually has from a distance. Elder Titan with a high level of Natural Order and Astral Spirit, together with Plasma Field, can pretty much stop a push, just those 2 abilities combined. You have a front line Bristleback who will get the safe lane farm as it looks right now. Oh, maybe not. We'll see that in a moment. Also doing some significant damage when all the armor is gone from the enemies. And then even in addition to that, Skywrath Mage, if anyone gets caught out, there is the Mystic Flare, which will effectively deal pure damage if Astral Spirit is on top of the target, which is kind of scary. It's a 600 damage ability on level 1.
I almost want to put this game down to, like, kind of what the panel said as well. It's a game of survivability right now. But the survivability from Navi, like when you put it all on paper, I think you got Centaur, we got a large amount of life points and an escape mechanism for everyone. You got Witch Doctor, who can make space with a cask and give Voodoo Restoration and make space once the Death Ward also comes up in levels. You got Brewmaster, who can split and is also very tanky by nature. You got Rubik, who's giving magic resistance to everybody and also has pick up, throw aways. Like he's got a lot of escape mechanisms. And that leaves your last one, the Luna, who's probably the most susceptible of the Navi lineup to dying, but if you can't get to a point of having some good life steal and Satanic, then you're also looking pretty good from that front. Where VG Gaming, the survivability isn't as great, but the point is they can kill a hell of a lot faster because of the combination with the Elder Titan. The Brewmaster ulti in the early stages is also quite useless, mainly because of, like, once you're able to get a lot of stacks up on the core stacks, then you're going to lose your Brewlings anyway, and that'll buy space for then Super to move around. He likes also the Brewlings because he can static link them directly, so he doesn't actually lose that static link either. So I really, as far as this goes, if VG Gaming get a good initiation off, if they get some good pickoffs, then Navi lose all of their stability. But if Navi are able to get up in farm, up in levels, and get space in the early stages, then I don't see VG Gaming holding on to this game at all.
I think this one is really open. There's the 2 lineups excel at completely different things here, and depending on who gets the jump on their terms, they'll probably be in a really good position now. As far as the lanes go here from the get-go, we do have dual lane setups for Navi with the Luna and Rubik bottom lane. Speaking of which, they might actually try to go for this one on Ice Ice Ice. This is going to be a lot of damage. He's pretty much out of position here.
The Spirit's going to drop, he drags it back in. It's the movement speed he's looking for with a Lucent Beam. Oh! And the healing salve is enough! 11 life points he stays alive on.
And surprising for me, Holos didn't use his Lucent Beam early on. It's a 6-second cooldown. That could have been a first blood right there. If he Lucent Beams earlier, before they lift, he will have a secondary one, and that would have been a kill. So, a missed opportunity here for Navi, and that's really important for Ice 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 to stay alive through this. Now, he does not have any more regen, and the Courier is in use, so he's pretty much stranded down here right now. But
he doesn't want to buy up regeneration either. This is the guy who wants to build into a bottle.
Or a Soul Ring.
Or a Soul Ring, but considering the way the runes have changed around, I think at this in this type of game, like a bottle would just be a lot better for him. Just to contest at least. But this top lane too, it's kind of interesting to watch like the observer ward placement. This is a very, very early board buying Funnick's space. And now he's managed to find 3.5 levels from it. His CS is okay. He's still walking around at 5-0, so that's not amazing. But he'll know the second FY comes in at like a level 2 Barrow Strike. And even now, like FY, he just needs one, he doesn't need much experience at all, and he'll actually have enough to get that second level up in Sandstorm. And that's more important for him because then that's going to be stack farming for himself.
Yeah, this triple stack he already made for himself does his mud golems, but he can take the other 2 stacks at least. And he'll be going top here for the level 3. But overall, now Navi has chosen to rotate down the Witch Doctor, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I think the Rubik and Luna had this lane under control, but perhaps they're going here to just push the tower. They're adding FNG to the mix for the additional pushing power. There is Facilius already up on Havost as well, and now they're going to dive behind the tower. This is a kill that, or a gank that Ice cannot in any way expect right now, but, well, maybe he can.
I'm wondering if he used, I thought he might have used the Spirit to have a bit of a look through the tree lines. And in fact, SK's already peeing it out, saying, yo, Ice, be mindful down here. He's keeping his eye out for him. FY does have that level 2 up in Sandstorm, so the supports are going to start to farm a lot faster here for VG Gaming. Well, you're missing out on time here from FNG and Vanskol. So like, for their push, they're even triggering the fortification so early on to make sure this catapult will go down. That's the primary goal of that fortification right there.
And it looks like it's going to happen as well. It needs one more hit from the tower. No other creeps come in range, so there we go. Yeah, that's a really good play.
Courier's coming towards middle lane, but Funnick, he's got no jump. He's just got Tranquil Boot, so there's no way to get that Courier or even catch Super out. It is nighttime, of course, so the vision is a little bit more restrictive. But that's not going to give him this mid kill. Not unless Super really overcommits himself.
Well, he will now.
He starts to static link. He's lost it too. Funnick's going to try and chase him down. There's 3-7-2 against 3-9-0, so Funnick, he is able to catch up to him, which means the hook stop will be available. But the problem is, Dendy, he's also trying to keep up with him at a 350 movement speed, and he can't do it. They just give up the chase at the end of the day.
Good awareness here from Super to get off to the left, the right side, the right time there. Sorry. So, yeah, another failed attempt here from Navi. I don't think this one is so costly because Funnick was not in the best position in the top lane, but the fact remains, it just looks like Vici are getting the better of this laning stage right now. They're getting to play their Sand King in the jungle without getting punished. The bottom tower only lost half its health. Ice is almost level 4. Funnick, same level in the Radiant offlane, which the offlanes are a little bit more similar now after the change, but I would still favor the Radiant just because of the way the lane works. So all in all, I think Vici Gaming are happy with how things are going right now. I'm very curious to see how scary this Bristleback gets. I think it's a hero. It's often underrated how much damage it actually does. People tend to focus a lot on the fact that it's a frontliner, it's very tanky and hard to bring down, but if you itemize for it, this hero is a legit late game carry as well. He's got great move speed. He hits incredibly hard.
It's physical goes through the roof, really.
It's insanely good.
That's why Warpath is so important to him, and he's about to crack his level 6 on this top lane. He's already got treads available. FY's also walking around. He's level 5 now, with 2-3 in the build, so not the extra point up with the Burrow Strike, because Sandstorm's just giving him so much more now. If there's an opening for a kill, he goes for it. They'll probably realize there is Observer Ward there, so it doesn't help him out, but he just stacks, he'll come back, he'll farm it up, and he'll get very, very close, while, looks like Super is having some fun here with FNG.
So dead.
There's a Plasma Field level 1. One attack, and Plasma Field, oh, he doesn't care. He physical DPS's the FNG down, so that means you've got a lot of money now coming into Super. That goes towards the Buy Me a Mech fund. And I'm still looking at, well, face boots as well. Did he actually buy face boots, did he?
Yeah.
Hey, well, face boots. He also bought the headdress too. He can buy both.
He wanted that last hit really bad. He gets to pay for it.
And Luna gets the kill with the Lucid Beam.
Easy pickings. This new path here in the Radiant bottom lane just makes for some really interesting gank potentials, especially for a hero like Rubik, who can initiate from a pretty long distance and then toss back into the Luna there. Very nice kill here from Navi.
Yeah, with the old school. Well, Brewmaster Split's being used here in the middle lane. They're searching for Super. They'll get the first one off. FNG's going to lend the paralyzing cask as well. Super, not enough life points. Phase boost to be set up in towards the air, which takes away his movement speed, but they've got enough damage. They're deep behind the tower, but Super does go down. Brewmaster back into his normal self. And FY was searching for some kind of extra space here. The Vanskol is able to hold him out with the telekinesis, but then he triggers DD rune. But they don't really have a way. Sentry Wall's about to cast. Fire Strike, you'll get himself away from Funnick. The cast followed him up. The Courier's actually coming in the middle of this now. Concussive shot. Throwing out there with the extra seal and Ice. Funnick, you'll get the Hoof Stomp off. FY seeing very, very close there. Takes the double-edged damage.
On Black.
He
is really far in as well. Wow.
Yeah, but with an Nasal Goo, another concussive shot going out, slowing down Denny with 2 orb attacks. The Spirit, Dandy, now you see how much damage can come his way. 150, FNG low on life too. Both of these heroes will be forced back. But Avorth is pushing the tier 1 tower solo, and he's dishing out a lot of damage down here. And they have no fortification.
Well, that was a lot of aggression from both sides there. Funnick diving really deep with the center, and then suddenly Black almost died as well, and his bristleback. Both teams are definitely not playing it safe, considering that this is a game 3 and the deciding game for both of them of whether they proceed in the tournament or not. So it's good to see all this aggression coming out. I would say in this particular instance, probably Navi coming out with a better trade because they got the tier 1, and we're going to see a Midas on Wolf's tier after the treads. So aiming for a late game Luna build here.
Kind of dangerous when you've just got an 8-minute Blink Dagger over on a Sand King.
He's very, very easy to kill right now on that Luna.
Yep. This is why I thought something more like a Bracer at least, so he can go into the drum kind of build. But at the same time, like, if you never see the initiation come out from VG Gaming, then you're fine. In fact, it's Navi who are the ones trying to initiate. They smoke gank over on FNG as well as Vanskor, searching for an opening. They have the Observer Ward down. Super runs his own, so he'll feel a little bit more confident about that lane, but at the same time, it looks like FY as well as Fenrir have exactly the same thought. And we'll see who can get the pick off. But it's definitely not going to be on Super. He is massively defensively moving down and away from the rest of Navi.
Yeah, this gank it's pretty obvious that there's a gank happening from Navi. Now, they don't know where it's happening, but the way with what VG Gaming are seeing on the lanes right now, they're assuming that it's mid, which is obviously completely correct here. So This gank is not going to bring anything with it for Navi. Essentially, a lot of time wasted. At the same time, VG is just farming both bottom and top lane. Now, Ice is going to get his level 6 in a moment. I am curious to see whether he goes for the 0440 build, which is more or less the standard. But sometimes we've seen, I believe it's Universe, who started to get a point in Echo Stomp a little bit earlier, for example. And I think VG Gaming's lineup could really benefit from having another stun.
It's just adding that little bit of extra earlier control, which you're probably not always expecting, as in the enemies of the other Titan. But he does hit his level 6, and he sticks with the 033 build. And FNG's moving down, but the Blink Dagger, they know. Concussive shot, Epicenter as well being challenged, but the ulti is up from the Centaur. FNG just runs himself away, and now FY moves up through the tree line. The bouncing cast's going to come in with the trees on the side, then he just cracks. And the losing beam from Avorth ensures another quick kill coming their way. As I'm hearing, actually, he's just happy with the kill for the moment, and VG Gaming do back up. But you're still getting that Super with the DD rune. It's very, very close to finishing up that mech. And Black is still free farming up top. Go for a bit of a... he's got a zip boost as well as a cloak early on.
This is a good call from Super. They know that Stampede is down. It was just used, so he can go up here and start putting a lot of pressure, knowing that Funnick can't really initiate on them. I don't know if the follow-up damage here from VG Game is going to be enough to bring down this tower, but... Did Dandy TP to that bot lane? I think he did. So the Brewmaster will not be able to reinforce the top lane, and this might just turn out to be a destroyed tower here for VG Game.
Yeah. But the difference is between this tower as well as what Navi did before is the fact that Navi actually had the VG Gaming didn't have fortification to defend their bottom tier 1 tower. Where this time around Navi will use it and delay it up. And this buys him time to do some damage into the tier 1 tower of VG Gaming. The Spirit from the other Titan was forcing him straight back. So it will be a tower going the way of VG Gaming, but Navi gets some return damage into the tier 1 in mid.
And if you remember in game number 1 when we were casting the the Undying getting the Crimson Guard?
Yep.
We weren't sure if that was a good Crimson Guard game. This is an amazing Crimson Guard game for Black. I think he has to get it here. He should finish the Vanguard now. He's just waiting for the ring. He's getting it now. The Crimson Guard, of course, the 50 damage block for 9 seconds against Luna's Glaives, the Death Ward, Brewmaster Split. It's perhaps the highest value item VG Gaming can get for their money for the entire first 30 minutes of the game, together with the mech on Razor. If VG Gaming gets both those items, I think Navi's going to struggle to teamfight because they're going to have to do all their damage magically, which is not... They have magic damage, don't get me wrong, but a big part of Luna's teamfight presence in the mid-game is not just the Eclipse, but that the Glaives start dealing significant damage. And with a Crimson Guard, you just don't care. The bounces will actually deal like 0.
Fender and FY just made the best decision they ever could have made. They went in the one vision gap of Navi's warding inside their jungle. before they went for any kind of smoke movement.
Oh, yeah, just a small correction. It doesn't work on the Death Ward. Thank you, Twitch chat. Yeah, the Death Ward ignores the Vanguard damage block, the Crimson Guard block too, so that's a good point. But it's still very, very good against Luna and Brew, and it doesn't change the fact that it's amazing here. But true, it's not as good as I said, but still amazing. So
this is not a fight the VG Gaming want to take. The Smoke's going to break on FY, which means he knows that someone's in the tree line, but there's 5 heroes. They're jumping in on Super. Where is our epicenter from FY? He's got to actually start channeling it in the back end of play. Super still alive. The Mech Shot hits him up in the telekinesis from Vanscore. It stops the hit, but then again, he's still going to Burrow Strike off, and the ulti from Luna is well off target. It allows for a blink away by FY. The Brewmaster can't keep up with him. The Bristleback will be sent up into the air, but Fenrir is now the one being chased down, fighting right in the back of him. The Spirit will be dropping both the Vorth and FNG down below half of their life points. But with all of that, it was still a 1-1 trade-off, and that was Centaur ulti, that was Eclipse, and that was Brewmaster split, all committed to try and go for that kill.
I think Navi should be happy getting a 1-for-1 win completely with the Eclipse. It's nothing. The VG Gaming heroes backed out at the right time. Navi also had to use the Stampede, or they used Stampede in a kind of awkward way. It didn't seem like they were completely decided on whether they wanted to initiate or disengage with it, and they kind of got a little bit of both out of it. And, well, with that spell usage, getting a 1-for-1 here from Navi, I think is okay. They used the split to try to get in on Super, who has the mech. I don't know if Dindy had seen that at that point. So
we're going again, man.
Yeah.
The Sentry went down from Vanscore because he wasn't sure about it. FY and ISI sides have the high ground here, but a Spirit into a Burrow Strike, they made it through it anyway. Burrow Strike, there's the 2 in the Spirit, and then Subaru with the plasma field. Vanscore loses life so quickly. ISI sides got both 172 damage on this guy. They will take 3 heroes from Navi on the high ground, and VG Gaming, a huge advantage coming their way with those kills, and they'll look for the Tier 1 tower. They'll claim it.
Plasma field hits so incredibly hard. To put things in perspective, if there's a natural order on the targets that Super hits with a level 4 plasma field on max range, they all take about the same damage as they would getting hit by Laguna Blade. So that is pretty insane. It's 370 max damage on the plasma field at the max radius. It's currently only level 3, and you saw how hard that hit right there.
Yeah.
If that's a level 4, 370 damage after reduction, that's sick. And it's what I was talking about earlier, how VG Gaming will easily be able to clear waves, and it's going to be a problem for Navi when they want to try to push lanes, because Elder Titan and Razor can just hold. It's going to be absolutely no problem for them with all the damage they have between those 2 abilities combined, and Navi's heroes will just be tanking way too much damage as they try to push.
That's true how much space Navi has been trying to give to FNG. Like, he's come back for both the fights, but they gave him space in the bottom lane to try and find levels. Now they're getting space on top, but FY just goes for the solo kill, and there's no way a boss can stop this. Then again, Restoration, 1 charges, he's in the Sandstorm, and hiding for now. He doesn't have enough mana for another jump. He's only got one charge up his sleeve. But it does mean the epicenter gets blown, but FNG, and he survives. Burns through a lot of mana to restore himself up. FY, Dandy, he clapped before he blinked. I don't know if that was just meant to bring down the creep wave, however, but he could have gone after FY. Either way, Fenrir now in towards the mid lane. Let's see Vanscore. Gunshot doesn't slow him down. With the time to Vanscore, he did throw him away far enough. In fact, he walked into Super, and they've used the Stampede to try and get him out.
That last shot from Razor was like 1,000 range when it hit. Of course, it only matters when you start the animation. Even with Rubik running that far, it still doesn't cancel. So, yeah, we've got ourselves a tower trade. Navi will get top, each getting bottom, so that's even. Black did indeed choose to go for the Crimson Guard here. I'm very curious to see that in play. It's still an item that I feel like the pro scene hasn't, it's still very new, the whole version and everything, so I think it's probably getting picked up less than it should because the teams aren't necessarily considering it often enough because you need to get used to all these new changes, but I'm imagining this Crimson Guard is going to make a really big difference in this game for VG Gaming. They have, in my book, easily the upper hand in teamfights right now, and I'm saying that against a lineup that has Luna, Brew, and Centaur. But the fact is, if they just land their abilities correctly and get the damage done, then the Crimson Guard is going to mitigate whatever Navi have to throw back at them, or at least enough that with the Mech and Crimson Guard combined, they probably won't die on the heroes.
I want to flag something interesting. Like, you talk about getting used to new changes. Most teams got used to running double bottles. VG Gaming don't have a single bottle on their lineup.
Yeah, that's very unusual. Especially when you're a hero like Razor mid. Now, what Super did do in this game was he maxed out Static Link in the lane. He went 0-3-2 build in the early levels, and if you don't have Plasma Field, it's very hard to contest runes because you don't push out the lane that well.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the reasoning. He felt like he didn't need the mana from the bottle anyway, so I get it. And with that reasoning, it makes a lot of sense, but You're right. A game without a bottle on one team is actually very, very rare these days.
And because of that, like, they're not having the full regeneration on the front lines, but maybe you just don't care for now, because you've still got your arcane boost over on the Skywrath Mage. Your lineup's not heavily mana intensive, so you're okay on that front. Sentry Ward and D-Warning from FY, he's going to be quick about that. He thought he was going to be jumped on, and VG Gaming, like, I feel like he's still revealing himself on the bottom lane, so it's very difficult to work out what VG Gaming are properly up to, and Navi can't commit to it either, because what are they going to do? Like, jump across the river into that? They can find themselves in a lot of trouble in a perfect positioned SK if they're not careful. And the thing finally came out there from Rubik. They're saying, I think something is really going on here, boys. And they're actually stopping halfway through. I hope if they just need a breather.
Yeah, well, they're not feeling comfortable with the situation right now, Navi, but there's a lot of VG Gaming heroes missing right now, so they could also be ganking, and Navi are just contemplating what could be going on right here. I think it's going to become pretty obvious now in the moment that, okay, this has taken so long that it must be Roche, and they're giving it up. They can't fight this right now, I think.
Yeah.
Luna got the BKB, but it was a little bit too late. With that, this fight could have maybe happened on their terms, but yeah, she picked it up 30 seconds too late for them to be able to take the fight at the Roche here. So it's going to be an Aegis on the Bristleback. I thought they might have chosen to give that to the Razor, even the Elder Titan, but this means Black can play incredibly aggressively now in these fights. He doesn't have to care about anything at all, actually.
It's that ultimate survivability, but it's beyond that. Is Black going to the front line saying, please throw everything you have at me, then it can trigger, then I come back to life again, and going to cause you a world of pain.
And one thing we have to consider right now with Ice going for this Hand of Midas build is he could turn into a semi-carry himself. I'm curious to see if he tries to go for the new Aghanims upgrade, which gives a disarm to the ultimate and makes it last another second, or if he's looking for the more traditional items such as, well, the mech is taken, maybe he gets a pipe for the team, he could get something like a Hex or a Shiva's Guard, or if he just goes hard hitter and gets a crit at some point. I'd like to see that.
A crit on an ET?
Hits really hard.
He does. There's no doubting that. What was Brewmaster ends up going down the bottom lane. Looks like Fenrir, Ulti, and Epicenter both being committed. And of course, Vanskor won't get there in time to help them out. They're already bailing out of here.
Yeah, Navi poured it down here with a little bit too late on that. And that's one thing that Sand King and Skywrath are incredible at combined. They can pretty much kill every single hero in the game, even like 30 minutes in. If you combine Epicenter with the Mystic Flare and the Ancient Seal again, like, the burst damage is just incredible. Even a BKB carry like Luna will actually die before she can get BKB off if the Epi is channeled before the blink's done. So there's a lot of potential there. Navi is starting to lose control of the map as well, and that's kind of an issue here. They have one ward out in the mid, but apart from that, VG Gaming they're invading their jungle right now, and Navi they're pulling out. So it's pretty easy to see who's in control of the game at this point.
Smart little move there by ISIS. They didn't get vision over on Havorst. But they did check out some vision on FNG, so when they were doing the D-Warning, they put a Spirit down here, just so they would be capable of doing the Blink to Burrow Strike and get themselves a follow-up kill straight away, if anyone tried to come down and contest them. And who picked up the 4-star? It's just ET?
Yeah. I was not expecting that from the Elder Sign. It's a great item on pretty much.
Oh, Navi, they're looping. They're looping. ISIS, the Spirit actually runs through two of them already. They'll trigger the oldies in the plasma field. Of Vorce triggers his BKB. Dendy, he's already low on life. Fenrir, he's got to turn and seal him up. Mystic Flare, not available because he gets full stomped up. Vorce triggers the oldies, but Fenrir is the only one who really takes damage from it. Dendy on 232 life points. He'll have to come back in, but the ET splitter. It picks up the Witch Doctor. It picks up the Rubik. So the cause is still left here, and the Brewlings, they won't survive long. We've already got the 5 Brewling low on life. It's just Centaur as well as Dendy, Funnick and Dendy running themselves away. They're sticking with the Earth Brewling. They'll send the Bristle up and towards the air. And Ice, attempting to stop the Burrow Strike. They waited him out perfectly. And Brewmaster not splitting up 4 heroes for the price of 1. And they blew every ulti they had apart from Death Ward. Because the ET splitter from Ice was perfect through the tree line.
Yeah, that was such a good initiation again from VG Gaming. And the absolute crucial thing is getting the Ancient Seal on the Brewmaster. It wasn't really initiation from VG, it was Navi initiating pretty poorly, to be honest. The smoke broke, and then they still pursued through. They used the BKB on Luna on half health together with a Stampede, and they didn't even catch up from that. So 2 of the really important things for the team fight were kind of thrown out the window before it even started, and VG Gaming just kited them around and then easily cleaned them up at the end. So making quick work of that fight, and they got themselves about a 5,000 additional golden experience lead in that one swoop here. So we're now on the 10K mark.
Oh, that's pretty fun, man.
For Navi right now.
Even look at FY's money. Look at FY's money. He's got 3.2k gold on a Sand King. What is he buying with this?
A house? Oh, Dandy.
He comes in, but I think he came for the creep camp, but ended up just having FY Burrow Strike underneath him. He'll still take the 2 big creeps here. So it's still worth his time traveling, but the BKB is now fully done for Super. And they'll just keep on working through the rest of their items. Also a bit of a casual headdress coming up on a Skywrath, even though Super's already picked up the full mech.
Yeah, they're probably looking for a pipe as well to just... Like, if you have a team in the mid-game, like around the 25 to 30 minute mark, and you have mech, pipe, and Crimson Guard, like, what can fight you if the end of a team doesn't have the same? You're going to have to, if you're Navi, you're going to have to try to bait out those, reset, and then reinitiate. Or you need to get one hell of a burst off in the start of the fight so you take out a key target while it's stunned. One of the ones that have the mech pipe or the Crimson Guard.
Let's pick up a second 4-star. That one belongs to the SK. And if they jump up right now, Super will come up and a Vorst will be visible. The cover shot's already flying with the Spirit on top of a Vorst. He's flown down, but there's just no follow-up damage. And then again, when you can stop and hold a Vorst in position, the Aegis gets fully reclaimed. So that advantage no longer belongs. But this ancient area, I don't know if Navi even want to try and contest this. Especially when Blank's about to pick up a Halberd. He's been working through these items really, really quickly. When you're 101 and 134 CS, you would think you would do such a thing. But Luna, hilariously enough, a Vorst, he's 212 on the board, and he has the highest net worth across the board too.
It's the Midas factor.
Yeah, but you've also got like Midas over another Titan too.
Yeah, which is why he's actually doing really well considering how hard the lane was for him in the start, but Isis has recovered very nicely. He's currently 4th in the net worth, only behind Luna, as you said, Razor, and the Bristleback. And the problem for Navi right now is that they're going to be